Day 16, and it's pouring with rain this afternoon. We just spent a couple of hours with my mum at the care home. Oh, and there's speed bumps. Sorry about that. So we're going down a little road near to where we actually used to live when we were first married. When I met Mr. Stitches, he was in a flat, and after we came back from our wedding in Paradise in St. Lucia, I moved in. So this is a road we had drove down very, very, very frequently when we lived here. It's so narrow. Some of the roads here are literally a car wide. And they're 15 miles an hour. They're called green lanes. They're so narrow. And at certain times of the year, the hedgerows are so grown over that you're brushing the grass on both sides. Ducks in the road. It's duck weather for sure. That used to be a very common thing we used to say when it was a rainy day here. Good weather for ducks. And look at that, it's true. This here is an old mill. It's called Tessel Mill. A very, very tall granite building with a lot of windows. I've asked Mr. Stitches to go home a different route this time so that we can get a little bit of footage of a different road, a different valley. Jersey's very picturesque in a lot of places. Parts of it are very, very overbuilt. If you go down St. Helier, which is where the main town is, it's very, very built up. But out in the countryside, it's very pretty. I'm thinking that maybe tomorrow, once Mr. Stitches does the swim that he wants to do, we might get a little bit more driving around the island in. So I'm hoping for a dry day. So this is day 16. It will probably be uploaded on day 17 because I seem to have slipped into being 24 hours behind now. Yeah. This is the Victoria pub, colloquially known as the Vic in the Valley. Didn't you used to cycle down here a lot to go to school? Yeah. This used to be Mr. Stitch's route for cycling to school when he was in secondary school. There's not a lot of snow and ice here in the winter, but the wet roads with the fallen leaves can make for some pretty slippery conditions. Ooh. Throwing up water on the side, just as well there's no one walking along the footpath that's been built in the last few years. Oh, sheep. Didn't realise there were sheep down here. Look at all them all. They're looking a little soggy. Hopefully they're not felting in the rain. I love roads where the trees are growing over the road and making a kind of tunnel effect. I don't know about you, but when it's wet and rainy and cloudy and dim like this, I start to think about tea and fruitcake. Maybe it's because we often used to spend Sunday afternoons at one parent's house or another. And sometimes there'd be fruitcake or some other nice snack at tea time, which was about 4 o'clock. And now I'm craving fruitcake. I don't know if it's worth going out to buy ingredients for it, but I will definitely, I think, have to make some when I get back home. I don't want to wait for Christmas. Oh look, a very scenic bathroom box. So pretty. As if this road wasn't narrow enough, they made it even narrower. Putting the bollards here, but at least it's safer for pedestrians, I suppose. We're just coming up to St Mary's Church now. Jersey has 12 parishes. Each parish has its parish church. And probably others as well. And this is the pub that's just kitty corner to the church where we'll be going to meet my sister and her boyfriend tomorrow night for dinner. Picturesque. It's pouring with rain, but I'm risking getting my phone wet because this is the school where Mr. Stitches went to primary school. Well, I'm pretty damp. We had a lot of rain today. But of course we had to go out for a walk after dinner, so we suited up in our waterproofs and set out. I didn't wear a sweater because I knew I'd get too hot, but I was still too hot. And the trouble with waterproofs is that you end up getting damp from the inside because you're all sweaty, as well as damp from the outside. There was a couple of places where the road had actually flooded all the way across. And the first one we came across, we didn't notice until we put our feet into it. So we climbed over a hedgerow and went along the side of a field and tried to look for somewhere to climb back over. Well, the first fence we climbed back over just led to another field, didn't it? So then we walked a little further along and then climbed over a second fence and found our way back to the road. And then just around the corner from that, we found another flooded section. So we were able to walk along the top of the hedgerow and avoid the worst of that. I'm really hoping for a dry day tomorrow. Mr. Stitches and my father-in-law are thinking of having a swim, but that won't be till probably late afternoon. So I'm hoping to take you along for a little bit of a drive around the island tomorrow and see a little more than just the west end of the island. So I'm going to conclude here for day 16, and I'll probably continue adding for day 17, unless I find Wi-Fi early in the day and I can get day 17 done separately later in the day. I'll figure it out as I go. Talk to you later.
I've been thinking about the good times. I've been sleeping through the long nights. I've been shining in the sunlight. I've been thinking how I'm alright. There's a reason for my feelings. There's a reason why I'm healing. Yeah, I feel higher than the ceiling. All because of you. You and I are so sweet, so sweet. Talking till we asleep, asleep. Every night I fall deep, but love, yeah. Cause you really get me, make me fall to my knees, my knees. Every night I fall deep, but love, yeah. Wait a minute, should catch up on my reading. I should catch up on my eating. Yeah, but it's hard to keep a thought straight with you all up in my face. Try to get you out my mind, but why should I when you're all I really like? Yeah, I feel higher than a mountain, all because of you. You and I are so sweet, so sweet. Talking till we asleep, asleep. Every night I fall deep, but love, yeah. Cause you really get me, make me fall to my knees, my knees. Every night I fall deep, but love. Wait a minute, don't you leave before I get to kiss you. Wait a minute, I don't wanna be without you. Yeah, wait a minute, I can let you go before I kiss you. Wait a minute, I just need a minute or two. Minute with you is all I want. Minute with you is all I want. Minute with you, said a minute with you, said a minute with you is all I want. Minute with you is all I want. Minute with you is all I want. Minute with you, said a minute with you, said a minute with you is all I want.
Jersey is an interesting mix. We have Norman fortifications out in the bay and around the coastline. We've got Nazi fortifications, World War II, like bunkers and seawalls that they constructed when they were here occupying the island. And then modern houses all over the island. Definite mix of ancient and modern. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a roar of the waves hitting all the rocks out there, which is rather lovely. Lovely! I stepped in some really soft sand and I sunk in about 12 inches up my leg. Now my jeans are all soggy and sandy. So this is the west coast of Jersey. St. Mons Beach is probably the longest beach that there is on the island, and the road along it is called 5 Mile Road. Maybe not exactly 5 miles, but close. And if you got in a boat and you paddled directly west from here, you probably hit the east coast of the United States. Oh, there's a ferry out there, I didn't notice that before. A couple of surfers who've been in there with their wetsuits on. This beach is really good for surfing. I'm not far from the tower. The tides go a long way out here, and some of the things that are built out there are walkable to at low tide. But I'm not going all the way to that. I just want to find a good rock pool. Do love a good rock pool with sea anemones and crabs in. This is going to be under a lot of water a little bit later today. Well, I found a rock pool, but not sure how much sea life I'm going to see. There's barnacles and shells attached to the rocks. Limpets, mostly, some periwinkles. Sometimes you see little fish that have been caught in here when the tide went out. I don't see any. And if there's any rocks that you could pull aside, sometimes a little crab will scuttle underneath. That lighthouse over there is La Courbière Lighthouse. And in the foreground you'll see a heck of a lot of seaweed. Locally it's called rack, which is spelt V-R-A-I-C, and traditionally, a long time ago, they used horses and carts to come collect the rack from the beach and put it on the fields. They're still putting it on the fields today, but these days they use tractors. Makes a good fertilizer. This is the best thing about the beach. We found half of a scallop shell, a mussel, a couple of limpets, well there's billions of those, cockle, periwinkles, and I can't remember the name of this one. I don't think that's a periwinkle as well. It might be. My sister was the shell expert when we were in primary school. We did lots of lessons about learning shell names. I'm going to keep that scallop for sure.
Feel that I can move against the odds. There's this fire burning in me, I can't call it off, it off, it off. Trust me, no, nobody can dim the light in you. I say nobody, nobody, believe it's true. So just hold on. You got it, you got it, you got it, you got it. So just hold on. You got it, you got it, you got it. Fix your troubles, push away tonight. On the dance floor, let your body loose to the rhythm of the night. On the dance floor, let your troubles push away tonight. On the dance floor, let your body loose to the rhythm of the night. On the dance floor. Whatever the world throws at me, I am gonna win. Trust me, hakuna atakaye kutenganisha. Unaye nguvu, we unaye nguvu, we unaye nguvu. So just hold.
There's Mr. Stitches and his dad feeling brave, going in for a dip. There was no way I was going to go in. It's not as high, the tide, as they'd like. Judging by the measuring thing on the side, it's only about 2.5 meters deep there, but good enough for them to go off the pier. And there's an elderly lady just up there in her wetsuit and her swimming cap. She's off for a swim as well. Oh, one of them's in. There you go, Mr. Stitches. It looks lovely, but I know there's jellyfish in there. And seaweed. I'm just going to do a last little outro for day 17. Standing in the shade so I'm not squinting at you. While the two brave men have their little swim. They look like they're enjoying it. Good luck to them. So we had a lovely walk on the beach this morning, and then this afternoon we did a little drive over to this eastern end of the island. You will have seen the castle at Goree, otherwise known as Mont Orgueil, which means Mount Pride. Another Norman fortification from like 1500 and something. This island actually used to be part of the French mainland many, many moons ago. I'm not sure how long ago that was. So I'll probably put in a photograph of the pretty ceramic fish that I bought at the Jane James Ceramic Studio down at the bottom of Goree Hill. I already have a Jane James pottery item at home. My sister sent me a piece of driftwood with some beautiful blue fish on, which if I remember I can show you when I get home. So rather than buy a large item and try and figure out how to get it home. I bought 11 individual little coloured fish so that I can find a piece of driftwood and stick them on there, make my own decoration after I get home. At least it's more portable that way. Mr. Stitches, I think, thought I might save money that way, but it still cost £55. He turned his back and I bought 11 fish. Too bad. So yeah, then we drove around a little bit more. We're sort of doing like a counterclockwise loop of the island, and this is on the northern coast. And it's a favourite place for my father-in-law to come swimming. It's not the closest to his house, but he does like to come here because he likes to go off the pier. For some reason, these guys don't like to just walk in off the slipway. Maybe it's easier to get in suddenly by jumping off a rock or a pier. I don't know. So yes, a 2-day vlog this time. When I go out to dinner tonight, I will sneakily upload this to YouTube. I'm hoping they have Wi-Fi and that it's not super molasses slow Wi-Fi and that it succeeds. And then we just got one more day of our holiday left and then we leave on Saturday. All too short. So I'll say goodbye for now.